Fiancé's family bombarded me with unsettling kindness, his silence amplified my discomfort, and now I'm questioning our relationship. I, 27F, recently met my fiancé's, 31 male, family for the first time. We have been together for 4 years, but we spent 2 of those years in my home country, and then moved to his country after I finished my graduate program. We didn't settle in his home state, but I kept asking to meet his parents because he's met mine, multiple times, and he always said that they're just very private people or kind of old-fashioned, so we should wait until we're engaged. Weird, but some people are just weird, so I didn't push on it. Well, we're engaged now. So last weekend we finally made the trip. And I don't know how else to describe it, but something felt really off about the entire thing. They weren't rude. I want to preface by saying that. It's on the contrary. They were nice to a degree that felt contrived and honestly a little scary. His mom kept hugging and touching me and holding my hands, asking what she can do for me, how she can make me comfortable, that it's so nice to finally meet me. His dad barely said a word to me, and that juxtaposition was a lot. But I felt love bombed a little. She made all my favorite foods and kept anxiously asking if anything was wrong, if she could refill my drink. She even offered me her shirt when I mentioned I thought it looked really nice. I thought maybe she was just anxious? His little sisters asked polite questions to me, but still, it felt so surface level. His mom was dominating everything. It kind of felt like a job interview. Like, what are you looking for in a marriage, and have you heard much about our little town? With palpable relief when I said no, because I'm not from the US. She asked about my past relationships and was very interested in why me and my past boyfriend broke up. I specifically remember her asking, how hard did you fight for it? Or did you just leave? And that was so weird. I just felt oddly interrogated and coddled at the same time. I'm not explaining myself well, but my gut told me to get out of that house. My fiancé barely spoke all night, and any time I looked to him for reassurance he just smiled and looked down at his hands. Which is not like him. At all. A couple nights in and I told him I was feeling kind of weird and wanted to go home. He asked me why, and I told him that maybe I'm just not used to American socializing, that I just feel a little tired and overwhelmed, and that his family is really, really nice and I'm not sure how to handle it. I was trying to not be rude, but we've always emphasized honesty in our relationship, and I thought if this was a cultural thing maybe we could talk about it and overcome it together. He got really defensive though, saying I was being dramatic, rude, and xenophobic, when his family had gone out of their way to make me feel welcome. I apologized and said I was grateful, that I just felt a little weird, and he said he was done talking about it. We drove home and he won't talk about it anymore, will hardly even talk to me. His mom, on the other hand, has been texting me non-stop since she met me. How happy she was to meet me, how beautiful I am, and how she hopes we won't wait too long to get married and have kids. I just feel so unsettled. My fiancé thinks I am an ungrateful asshole, and maybe I am. Am I? I just feel so out of sorts over this. Any advice, criticism, anything is welcome. Edit, my fiancé still isn't talking to me. At all. He shut himself in our room and said he needed space. Seriously, am I missing something here? WTF do I do? I feel like I'm going crazy. Update 1. I finally got my fiancé to talk to me, and it was not a good conversation. I apologized again for coming across as ungrateful, and he said that the way I reacted to his family told him everything he needed to know about why he was so reluctant to let me meet them in the first place. He said I should be grateful they welcomed me with such open arms, and that I needed to remember that the only reason I'm doing so well in this country is because I am dependent on him to be here. That had me so angry. I literally can't stand being talked down to. I said I felt like this was way out of proportion, and he then accused me of cheating on him. He demanded to see my phone because apparently, according to him, I am intentionally trying to sabotage our relationship by saying his family is too nice so that he'll call off the engagement. I can call him the asshole, and I get to go off with my so-called fling. I am not a cheater, so I said go ahead, look through my phone. He scrolled through my texts for a bit, my internet search history, my social media search history, and my camera roll. As expected, he found nothing, but he doubled down and said that this was a serious problem for him and that he needs to reevaluate our entire relationship. I am so baffled. He has never blown up on me like this. I feel like I don't even recognize who I'm getting married to. WTF do I do? Am I actually this much of an asshole? Edit for clarity, I didn't articulate myself well in the first post, so here is a more extensive rundown of what happened at his home. His mom touched my hair and kept hugging me, grabbing my arm. She even pinched my cheeks a couple of times. These could all be very normal things. I am coming to understand this by reading the comments. But this paired with everything else just made me feel like more of a doll. She said I was more beautiful than I imagined, multiple times kept saying I was beautiful and perfect for her son. She grabbed my shirt because she said it looked so good on me and wanted to feel it. She insisted I sit down next to her and every so often kept saying she was so glad to finally meet me and that it feels like she had been waiting for me forever. She served my plate for me and kept filling it with food even when I said, thank you, it was so yummy, but I'm full. She kept bringing me drinks even when I said I wasn't thirsty. I don't handle alcohol well, so I try not to drink. I would try to decline, but she just kept insisting, so then I felt like I couldn't. She was asking me what I was looking for in a relationship, what kind of wife I wanted to be, what my past relationships were like, why I left my exes, what my thought process and reasoning was. And since we left, she has been texting me almost this whole time. Asking me to promise I'll come back and visit, asking when the wedding is, asking me to not put it off for long. Asking when we're going to have kids, asking if we're trying for kids. I hope this provides more clarity for why I felt the way that I did, even if I shouldn't have said it to my fiancé because I was a guest in their home and a receiver of their hospitality. Edit 2. Many people have asked and I guess it might be more relevant than I thought. Fiancé is white and I am Asian. No, I was not born in the US. We met when he was teaching English in my home country. Update 2. I have been really slow to catch up to what is happening to me, and though a lot of the comments scared me, I started coming to the natural conclusion that they were right. I felt more and more unsettled as the hours went on. Fiancé's mother kept texting me, and he didn't text me from work like he usually does. He got back late. His job is labor intensive and requires long hours. When he got back I was waiting and told him I wanted to talk, right now, because the way events are unfolding is unacceptable to me, the effort I've put into our relationship, and is leaving too many questions unanswered and creating even more. He instantly lit up and demanded to see my phone again. I said I would not give him my phone unless he gave me his and he vehemently denied, saying I was the one causing problems so it was his right to look through my phone, not his. At this point, I was starting to feel really scared of him. I am physically much smaller than him and this has never felt more apparent to me than in that moment. He was speaking really loudly and really closely to me, telling me that his family and him were willing to give me a second chance if I behaved better this time, that he knew I had it in me to be polite because I always acted that way back in my home country, and that no one else in America would put up with this bullshit, so I should consider myself lucky he didn't do more to expose my cheating. I asked if he was threatening me, and he again demanded to see my phone. I said no, though not as firmly as the first time, and he stormed off to the bathroom and turned the shower on. I was really scared. So many of you told me to look him and his family up and I didn't because I honestly thought it was silly. But I did. Right there in our living room. Turns out, he did have a past girlfriend, though he's always maintained he has only had short flings and never a serious relationship. She disappeared 8 years ago and he was considered a suspect for a while. I couldn't find much in the articles because I honestly didn't know how to dig further. I don't know if anything ever happened with it, if he still is a suspect, though I guess he couldn't be to teach English in another country. I don't know how it works. I know he was never convicted but whether or not he did it is irrelevant to the fact that he lied. He lied so colossally about something so huge, I was genuinely so scared that I started shaking. I couldn't think or do anything. It was the middle of the night and he was in the shower and I was just so scared. I really missed my mom and home so much more than I have since I left. I locked myself in our bedroom and called her and she answered, despite it being the middle of the night, and tried to explain what was happening as best I could. My parents told me to leave all of my things except for family photos, heirlooms, and my work things and go to a hotel. Not to say a word to him and just do it as quickly as possible. I told them he was in the shower so they thought I would have enough time to do it without him noticing. I got all my stuff together as quickly as I could. I think I forgot some jewelry but it's okay. My dad sent me money for a hotel and that's where I am right now. I took an Uber about 2 hours away from the city on a separate account I made that night, as I don't have a car here. My fiancé started messaging me about 30 minutes into the drive asking what was going on. I sent him the links to the articles I read and said I was feeling really scared and lied to and that I thought our relationship was over. If he thought I was cheating, clearly we don't trust each other. He called me so many times, kept sending that I was a bitch for accusing him of something he didn't do, for bringing up such a sore subject when he wasn't ready to talk about it. He said he wished he never met me and that I should think long and hard about what I'm doing because I don't fully understand the consequences of being alone in America. That no one will want me like him, that he was doing me a favor. I just ignored it. I was crying so hard the Uber driver actually asked me if I was okay. Then, his mom started calling and texting me. She said she knows it sounds scary but her son is a good person and he had nothing to do with it, and that if we just get married and have kids things will really smooth out. I couldn't take it anymore. I just wanted to go home. Everything was clicking into place way too much. His parents' treatment of me, why he kept demanding to see my phone, why it took so long for me to go to his hometown and meet his family. My friend walked me through everything and it all made sense. My body was so overcome by the stress and fear that I couldn't stand to be there for one more second. I am at the hotel now, all location services on my phone are disabled and my dad bought me a plane ticket home. I emailed my job and told them a family emergency came up and I would no longer be able to offer my services to them. Most of my clothes are still at the home I shared with my fiancé and I don't think I'll ever get them back because I don't want to go back, and it's not like I can ask my friends to get it for me. I have some friends here but they're not close, and it's too hard to ship them. Anyway, that's it. I sent him a text saying that the engagement is called off. There's a lot of other things to address, like the fact that we have shared accounts, he has my visa information, etc. I don't want to speculate over what happened with him and his past girlfriend because I don't know. They never found her, and my heart breaks for her. He just lied about it. For years. And tried to do everything he could to keep it from me. I am too scared to ever be comfortable in that relationship again, and I think it's time for me to go home. Update 3. I barely slept last night. My heart's still in my throat, and I keep jumping every time my phone buzzes. But I think something inside me has shifted, like I'm seeing clearly for the first time since all of this started. Let me explain what's happened since my last update, because things have gotten so much wilder and I need someone to bear witness to this insanity. So I was holed up in the hotel, triple locked door, lights off. My parents, bless them, called every hour to check on me. By morning, I had dozens of missed calls from both my ex-fiancé and his mom, plus some from numbers I didn't recognize. But that wasn't even the strangest thing. There was a knock on my hotel room door at 7 a.m. I just stood there staring. Who knocks on your hotel door at 7 a.m. if you haven't ordered breakfast? The desk hadn't called, and I could hear the shuffle of feet, almost uncertain, like whoever it was, they didn't want to draw attention. I didn't open the door. I asked, loudly, who it was, and a girl's voice answered, "It's Amy. Please, it's important." I didn't recognize the name, but she added, "I'm his sister. Please." At this point, my hands were shaking so bad I could hardly keep my phone steady to call the front desk. I did not open the door, but I asked her what she wanted through the peephole. She looked genuinely scared, early 20s, pale, big hoodie and backpack. She said she'd gotten my number from her mom's phone and had tracked my location through Find My iPhone. Not mine, her mom's phone, which had my number saved. She said she wasn't here to drag me back, she wanted me to listen, then do whatever I wanted, but to please not tell her mom she'd come. I told her to slide a note under the door if she wanted to say something, and she did. The note, I'm typing out, not sharing the pics for privacy, basically said this: she's been through this before, not with me, but with my ex's last real girlfriend, the one who's missing. Their family is not right, she wrote. Her mom is obsessed with controlling women her sons date, but it goes deeper. Her brother becomes another person when he's back home, and he's violent when crossed. She's seen it. She can't say for certain what happened to the ex, but she thinks her brother and her father had something to do with her disappearance, and that's why the whole town is still so weird around their family. Their mother runs interference, tries to charm and control, but if you step out of line or try to leave, things happen. She wishes she'd spoken out before, but was scared for herself and their youngest sister, who still lives at home. She warned me, do not let them know where you are. Get help, get legal advice, and don't come back to our town. And never, ever be alone with my brother again. I texted a photo of just the handwriting to my parents, not what it said, and tried to figure out what to do next. Through the crack in the curtains, I saw Amy leave, nervous, looking over her shoulder, getting into a tiny beat-up car I'd never seen before. I barely stopped shaking for an hour. At this point, I started to worry about my documents. My passport was hidden in my suitcase, thank God my parents told me to bring it, but my legal paperwork was with my ex in our apartment. I called my embassy from the hotel. I explained the basics, they took it very seriously. They told me to stay where I was, not to contact my ex, and they'd send someone to help me retrieve my documents. Apparently, situations like mine are more common than I thought. The hotel staff also called up to see if I wanted to move rooms, as there had been inquiries about your whereabouts at the front desk. This set off another wave of panic in me. I moved to a different wing, registered under my mom's maiden name, and shut down all social media. The officer asked if I would like to file a restraining order, given the number and content of the messages I showed them, and the note from Amy. I said yes. By the end of the day, I had a temporary one in place, and they gave me advice for the airport: arrive early, ask for an escort through security, don't go outside beyond populated areas. Yesterday evening, as I settled in a friend's spare room for one last night in the States, I got a final message from Amy: I wish I could get away too. Thank you for reminding me it's possible. I sent her a private message back, deleted Snapchat throwaway, telling her I'd pray for her and to get help if she could. I'm flying home, 36 hours after I bolted from my apartment. I've lost a lot, some belongings, a job I liked, time and energy, but I'm so grateful to be safe. I'm filing a notarized statement about what happened, and forwarding everything to the family of the girl who went missing, just in case it ever helps with the investigation. I'll check in with the embassy about what more I can do from abroad. I'm going to learn from this, trust my gut, never ignore a million red flags, because culture shock is easier to explain than something is deeply, fundamentally wrong. For now, I'm not sure if I'll ever date again, or if I'll open up to another family like that, but I'm alive, I'm free, and I didn't become the next unsolved mystery. I wish I could end this with a hallmark conclusion, but it's messy and ongoing. My advice to all the women reading: ask questions, listen to the weird little voice inside, and if you ever feel surrounded by fake warmth, forced generosity, or gaslighting when you tell the truth, get out. Thank you to everyone who left real, helpful comments. You absolutely did save me. If somehow Amy is reading this, be safe. You deserve so much more. Update 4: I've finally touched down in my home country after what was possibly the most nerve-wracking, soul-shaking 48 hours of my entire life. It still doesn't feel real. I keep expecting my ex's name to pop up on my phone, his mother's desperate text messages, or even Amy's voice at my door. But I slept, a little, in my own bed. My mother won't let me out of arm's reach. I promise, the story only gets wilder from here. There's so much I never expected to find out about the family I almost married into. Bear with me, this is long and rambly, but it's everything that happened since that last update. First, before I left the US, the embassy staff escorted me back to the apartment to pick up my paperwork. This was absolutely critical. I don't know what magic words they used, but the apartment complex manager let us in with a police officer standing by. My ex wasn't there, and the place felt weirdly empty, like someone had wiped it down. I got all my folders, visa, birth certificate, even the backup USB drive my dad insisted I travel with. I was in and out in 15 minutes, but as we left, the officer, a young woman, herself the child of immigrants, pulled me aside and told me, "Keep your documents on you, always. And, don't respond if his family gets in touch. There have been worse stories than yours." Now, for the truly strange part, the sheer amount of stuff I started learning after leaving, thanks to Amy. She messaged me again using yet another throwaway. I guess she's smarter than the rest of them put together. She said after my disappearance, her mother lost it, blaming Amy for not helping persuade me to come back and do things properly. Amy overheard her mother calling my former workplace, trying to convince them that I'd had a mental breakdown and needed to be brought home to my fiancé. When my manager, an absolute queen, refused, my ex's mom started trying to track down my friends to see if anyone knew my whereabouts for a wellness check. Thankfully, everyone stonewalled her, but it gets darker. Amy snuck me a second note through encrypted email. After I left, my ex's family had apparently gone through my things. It looked like they were searching for something specific. According to Amy, her mother found a zippered pouch from my suitcase, the one I packed frantically, and went white as a sheet when she opened it, before burning it in the backyard fire pit. Amy thinks, and I agree, that her mom was terrified I'd hidden something, incriminating, maybe, but honestly I think she just panicked at being left behind by someone her son chose. About 2 days after I landed at home, and after 2 more apology emails from my ex that rapidly devolved into threats about ruining his life with slander and making enemies in the wrong country, a police officer contacted my parents. He explained, very delicately, that new information had come to light regarding the missing ex-girlfriend. They'd been looking for her for years, but recently a local reporter had gotten wind of odd activity at the family's home around the same time as her disappearance. Here's the kicker. Now, thanks to my experience, and Amy's careful encouragement, several neighbors finally came forward admitting that the family had repeatedly tried to smooth over problems with girls who dated the son. Emotional blackmail, isolation, even one report of a bruised arm. No proof. Apparently, I was one of the lucky ones who got out before it escalated. 3 nights ago, Amy messaged me a final time. She and her youngest sister had packed bags and driven to another city to stay with a friend. In her message, Amy wrote, "I grew up thinking this was normal. Women were supposed to let men's moods guide their lives. Mothers made sure you never embarrassed the family, and you never, ever told strangers personal business. But you leaving like you did was the first time I realized it was possible to run. I owe you my life." Yesterday, a lawyer from a women's rights nonprofit, recommended by the embassy, reviewed all my digital evidence. She said that though I can't press charges from abroad, the sheer volume of controlling messages, and Amy's corroboration, makes for an excellent statement if the missing ex's case ever goes to trial. I've archived every single creepy text, every threat, every concerned message from his mother. My lawyer is now in touch with the detective on the case, who's finally reopening lines of inquiry into the family. And as for his mother, the texting never stops. When she realized my US number was disconnected, she somehow got my mother's number and WhatsApp, writing a bizarrely flowery apology and invitation to clarify all misunderstandings. As family, my mother, who is not known for mincing words, simply replied, "My daughter will not contact you again. If you harass our family, we will involve police." She signed off with a devil emoji. My mother is amazing. So here's where I am. I have nightmares every night, but I'm home. My friends and family have built a protective bubble around me, the food, the care, the constant presence of someone in the room. I love you, little brother. I will never take my gut feelings for granted again. I spoke to a counselor and to a survivors group. They said what happened to me, while deeply disturbing, isn't that rare. Sometimes it isn't the stranger danger, but the families who smile the biggest who are hiding the most. Other random new things that have happened or come to light since the last update. I found out, via Amy, that all the kindness from my ex's mom was rehearsed. She had literally written scripts of what to say to me and instructed her daughters to watch and learn how to keep a woman in the family. I want to throw up just writing that. My old coworkers emailed me after hearing the breakdown rumor from my ex's mother. They wanted to check if I was safe, and I filled them in. Our HR department has blacklisted my ex and his family from contacting them ever again. My bank detected attempted logins from the US and locked down my joint accounts. All my remaining money is now safely transferred home. I got a cryptic, short message from someone in my ex's hometown. "You did the right thing. Not every girl gets out. Keep your head down." I have no idea who it is, but it reminds me how close I came to being truly trapped. Maybe the strangest thing of all, I keep getting little flashes of memory. My ex, years ago, making offhand jokes about needing a wife who listens, or some women here think they have too many choices. I used to laugh it off. Now I realize every single alarm bell was there, echoing faintly. To everyone reading, the moment you begin to feel your boundaries erode, whether by suffocating kindness, aggressive suspicion, or family interrogation, please know you are not paranoid, rude, or ungrateful. The right people will respect your limits. Those who want to swallow you whole will always find a way to blame you for choking. I'm safe. Amy and her sister are safe, for now. The police are finally taking things seriously. I might have lost a future I thought I wanted, but I reclaimed my whole life in the process. If there are any further updates, arrest news, or help for Amy, I will post. For now, I am reading every DM and feeling less alone. Update 5. If you told me even a week ago that my story would be veering into true crime territory, I'd have laughed or maybe cried. I have no idea how I'm supposed to condense the past few days, each crazier than the last, into one comprehensible post, but here goes. I need to write it all down because Reddit, you're the only witness outside of my family who knows how deep this rabbit hole goes. Hold on to your coffee, it gets wild, but every word is true. After my last update, I focused on rebuilding my normal life in my home country, seeing a therapist, and slowly feeling like maybe I could eventually sleep a full night, without jolting awake, certain I'd heard footsteps. Then, 2 days ago, Amy reached out again, not from her old account, but via an encrypted email. Bless my techie cousin for teaching me how to handle these. Her message, urgent. Her youngest sister, Ellie, had run away from home, and Amy had no idea where she was. I barely knew how to help. I called Amy immediately. She sounded more panicked than before, saying their mother had threatened to call the authorities on Ellie for theft if she didn't come home, but Amy was terrified their mother would try to institutionalize her. Amy suspected that Ellie had taken some disposable cameras, journals, and a flash drive that had belonged to the missing ex-girlfriend. Apparently, the mother had kept a locked memory box or something for years, and Ellie had grabbed it when she fled. Amy wanted my advice. I don't know why, I'm not a detective, but I guess being the only outsider who'd seen behind the family's facade, she figured I'd know who to trust. My first instinct, police, but Amy said Ellie was petrified of the local authorities because she'd overheard her father talking to someone at the station to make the whole thing blow over, just like the last time. We coordinated frantically, passing info through encrypted texts. Then at 4 a.m. my time, Amy sent this: she's safe with me. She won't go to police, but she says the stuff she found proves something. She wants you to see. With my stomach basically doing backflips, I agreed. Later that day, I got a Dropbox link, password protected, along with a video message from a terrified but determined Ellie. I'm not going to share the files here, but I'm going to summarize for context, with everyone's permission and omitting any details that would put anyone in real-life danger. Several SD cards, a couple of Polaroid-type photos, and scrawled journal pages. The missing girlfriend had apparently kept notes on rules and threats she received, many of them in the mother's handwriting. You embarrass us, you embarrass yourself, there are only so many chances, don't end up like the last one. There were blurry photos of the family's lake house, one showing my ex and his father near a fire pit, dated the same week the girlfriend disappeared. Audio files, a couple of clipped, frantic voice memos clearly not meant to be found, voices whispering, outside a door, a panicked if I go missing message. It's chilling and not concrete evidence of a crime, but enough to make the hair on your arm stand up. One letter addressed to any reader. The missing girlfriend wrote about being controlled by her boyfriend, about the mock interviews with her future in-laws that mirrored exactly what I'd gone through. She describes feeling that she is a product to be presented for the town to see, perfectly mirroring my experience but in more frightened, raw terms. Ellie and Amy took the files to a regional reporter who had been covering cold cases in their area, a brave woman who, thankfully, took them seriously. Within 24 hours of providing the files, a detective from another jurisdiction contacted Amy, asking her if she would make a statement about why she'd left home. She agreed, with legal representation. As of today, both sisters are in a secure, undisclosed location and the police are very interested in my ex's family. Yesterday afternoon, I received a certified letter through my own embassy, purportedly from my ex's mother. It was as bizarre as the texts: expensive stationery, heavily perfumed, all florid apologies and statements about culture clash and the fragility of young women in new lands. She went on to invite me back to finish healing the family rift, and, no joke, enclosed a gift certificate for a local wedding boutique and a fertility pendant for good luck in my future partnerships. My family and lawyer both agreed. This is 90% an intimidation tactic, 10% a last-ditch lure. I submitted the letter and package to the authorities. They're treating it as further evidence of coercion and manipulation. The local police, pressured by the regional force and the reporter's story, executed a search warrant on the family's lake house. No one is publicly saying why, but Amy, through her leaks from her lawyer, told me they removed bags of personal effects and ground samples from near the fire pit. I know, that's as close as I dare get to saying it, but you can read between the lines. The press, for now, just says new evidence has come to light in the investigation of ex-girlfriend's disappearance. My ex's father is helping police with their inquiries, and my ex, well, no one can reach him. He's apparently vanished from his apartment and is not responding to anyone. Not quite a fugitive, but certainly not forthcoming. I'm shaken. I still check every lock, every privacy setting, every shadow twice, but I'm also finally beginning to let myself be angry. Not just for me, but for the missing girlfriend, for Amy and Ellie, for every girl who nearly gets vacuumed into a family like this and never hears her own voice again. All my paperwork, financials, digital accounts have been triple locked and transferred home. The embassy has me on a do not disturb list if anyone asks after my whereabouts. My lawyer is coordinating with U.S. authorities to make sure my statement, copies of every message from the mother, and my first-hand account of their manipulative vetting ritual are part of the burgeoning case file. Amy and Ellie are safe. They send me updates every day, and the three of us are weirdly bonded forever by this madness. The family's reputation in their hometown is crumbling. Since the media report dropped last night, 3 more women have contacted the journalist, anonymously, saying they were also interviewed or pressured by the family in years past. No specifics going public yet, but their stories echo the same patterns. My mother is still bravely fielding bizarre, passive-aggressive WhatsApps from my ex's mom. She saves them all for the authorities, and sometimes we read them together for a good, baffled laugh when things get too grim. I'm now working, remotely, for a charity that helps survivors of coercive relationships. For the first time since this all began, I'm starting to believe I can help someone the way Reddit and Amy helped me. If you made it this far, thank you. If you're wondering whether to trust your gut or whether too nice is really a thing, it is. If you have any weird inkling, any story that doesn't add up, talk to people. You might save your own life, or someone else's. The law sometimes moves slow, but truth wins out when enough of us refuse to be silent. Reddit, you mobilized an international rescue with your comments, and now, remarkably, the ripples may be about to solve a cold case. Watch the news for more, there's more coming. And to Amy and Ellie, you are the bravest people I know. I'll update when the next shoes drop. For now, hug your friends, listen to your gut, and run, never walk, from any family that wants to keep you just a little too close.